Have you ever heard a story so incredible it sounds like a superhero movie? Well, today we're diving into one of the most jaw-dropping tales ever told. The day a man named Samson took on a lion with nothing but his bare hands. This isn't just a story about brute force. It's about a divine power that turns an ordinary man into an unstoppable force of nature. So who was Samson? In the ancient land of Israel, Samson was a man set apart from birth. An angel had appeared to his parents, promising them a son who would be a Nazirite, dedicated to God. This meant he couldn't drink wine, couldn't touch anything dead, and most famously, he could never cut his hair. His long, flowing locks were the visible sign of his vow and the source of his legendary strength. From a young age, it was clear Samson was different. The Spirit of the Lord would stir within him, hinting at the incredible destiny that awaited. Our story begins as Samson, now a young man, is traveling to a town called Timnah. He's on his way to see a Philistine woman he has fallen for, much to his parents' disapproval. The Philistines were the sworn enemies of the Israelites, so you can imagine the family tension. But Samson insisted. He said, "Get her for me, for she is right in my eyes." Little did anyone know, this controversial romance was part of a bigger plan, a divine setup to create conflict with the Philistines and begin Israel's deliverance. As Samson and his parents journeyed through the vineyards of Timnah, the peaceful trip was shattered by a deafening roar. Out of nowhere, a young, powerful lion charged directly at Samson. He was alone, unarmed, and face to face with one of the most feared predators in the ancient world. A lion's roar can be heard up to 5 miles away, a sound designed to paralyze its prey with fear. For any other person, this would have been the end. But Samson was not any other person. In that terrifying moment, something extraordinary happened. The Bible tells us the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him in power. It wasn't just an adrenaline rush, it was a supernatural surge of strength that transformed him. Fear was replaced with divine fury. The charging lion, a symbol of raw, untamed power, met a force he could never comprehend. What happened next is the stuff of legend. With no sword, no spear, no weapon of any kind, Samson grabbed the lion. He fought it with his bare hands. The text describes it with chilling simplicity. He tore the lion apart as one might tear apart a young goat. Let that sink in. He tore a lion in half. This wasn't a struggle, it was a demonstration. Imagine the sheer, explosive power required to do such a thing. It's a feat that defies all human limits, a clear sign that Samson's strength was not his own. The most fascinating part, after this unbelievable display of power, Samson just went on his way. He didn't even tell his parents what had happened. It was his secret, a private confirmation of the divine power flowing through him. He continued his journey to Timnah, met the woman, and arranged the marriage. On the surface, life went back to normal, but Samson was forever changed. He had tasted the full extent of his God-given strength. Sometime later, Samson traveled the same path again on his way to his wedding. Driven by curiosity, he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion he had defeated. And inside the lion's remains, he found something completely unexpected. A swarm of bees and a honeycomb overflowing with honey. In a world where anything dead was considered unclean, this was a paradox. Life and sweetness had come forth from death and destruction. Without hesitation, Samson scooped up some of the honey and ate it as he walked along. He even shared some with his parents, though he still didn't tell them where it came from. This strange discovery would become the basis for a famous riddle he later posed to his Philistine wedding guests. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. They couldn't solve it, of course. How could they? It was a riddle born from a miracle, a secret between Samson and his God. This encounter with the lion was a pivotal moment in Samson's life. It was the first major display of his supernatural strength and a foreshadowing of his future battles against the Philistines. The lion represented the powerful, roaring enemy that threatened Israel, and Samson's victory, single-handed and divinely empowered, was a promise that he could deliver his people from their oppressors. It was a testament to the fact that when God is with you, even the most ferocious enemy can be overcome. The story of Samson and the lion isn't just an ancient action scene, it's a powerful lesson about faith, purpose, and the source of true strength. Samson's power wasn't in his muscles, it was in his connection to God. When he was aligned with his divine purpose, he was invincible. The moment the Spirit came upon him, fear became irrelevant, and the impossible became possible. It also shows us that our greatest victories can come from our most frightening challenges. The lion was a deadly threat, but facing it unlocked a new level of Samson's potential. And from that victory, from that place of death, came sweetness and sustenance. It's a beautiful metaphor for our own lives. Sometimes the struggles we face, the lions that roar at us, are the very things that once conquered produce the sweetest rewards and reveal the strength we never knew we had. Samson's life was a roller coaster of incredible triumphs and tragic mistakes, all stemming from the immense power he wielded. But it all started here in a vineyard, with a roaring lion and a man who chose to trust in a power greater than himself. His story reminds us that with faith, we too can face the lions in our lives, not with our own strength, but with the divine strength that turns fear into victory. What do you think is the most inspiring part of this story? The raw power, the secret victory, or the riddle of the honey? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into one of history's most epic tales, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.